Next question. Can I take anyone from the balcony? Lady up there, please.
Thank you, John.
I was just going to ask Kevin Doyle, you kept saying no cost to the council for all of these projects, but you didn't explain how they were paid for.
Thank you. Next question. The gentleman over there.
The King Alfred is the only indoor bowling green council-owned in the area. Council-owned. You've not mentioned it at all in any of the developments. It's got a King Alfred Indoor Bowling Club, which has been going for about 50 years. What's going to happen, please?
Thank you for that question. Indeed, I visited it a couple of months ago, and it's a big area. It's a big area. In the front here.
Hello, my name is Diane. I'm a local Hove resident. I'm also blind, as most of you have met my guide dog. I'm very concerned, as Ed has said, that they have approached local organisations, that disabled people, disabled organisations right across the spectrum in the city haven't been consulted around what is actually proposed plans and where you plan to go with this. Swimming, physical therapy, etc. for disabled people is a fantastic thing. I am also a Paralympic torchbearer, and I don't see why we can't have something like a 50-metre swimming pool in this city, because it would bring in phenomenal tourism.
We've had you already, so we've got other people going before we get to you. It's in the middle there, please.
One quick question. How long can the existing King Alfred building continue? Because if they're talking about planning for another 6 or 8 years and then starting to build it, we're not going to get the continuity that they all said was so important.
A good question. And I'll take one more from the gentleman who's hand up. Just in front of you, just here, who had up before.
Yes, hello. I've been here about 25 years in Hove, and I support the general mood that we should have a 50-metre swimming pool. And absolutely on the site. And we don't want an iconic destination with tall towers, large overdevelopments. We must have other means of getting financial backing if we have to dig deep or whether we have to find alternatives. And I strongly support what the lady said about disabled facilities. We desperately need them here.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I too think 50-metre pool is actually a good idea. And I'd like to ask that question and the others to the people on the panel about whether they've included those sort of proposals and the other ones. We had schools, costs of the council, bowling green, disability provision, how long the existing building can go on. The answer to that is I don't know that. I'm not done visibility with the council on that, but we will ask that question of them. And whether a 50-metre pool is included in some of your development plans. Quick responses from you guys who are involved in the development?
We haven't ruled anything out at all yet, so I think on the issue of the pool, I think it's important that the council states exactly what it wants, so that people like us know exactly how to respond. Yes, we can provide a 50-metre pool, but that's very expensive, and it would penalise us to do so in terms of the competition as it was run, for example. But that's why it's important that the council actually takes things to the next stage, so we can bid in a fair competition.
I think I'll address Diane's query first. I mean, I said we've been through a consultation stage. This is the initial consultation with key stakeholders, which would be in respect of economic development and potentially with elected members and council officers, rather than the general public, which is why something like this has to continue. And we'd have many of these moving forward. It is certainly not, I'm certainly not saying that we've been through all of the consultation we need to do. This is probably the first 5% of it. To address the other questions, I'll probably hit them all in one. Essentially, I'll try and emphasise what our offer is. We're putting forward a proposal for Brighton City Council to enter into a government framework. As some of you may know, any typical development of this size that's owned by the council has to go through European competition rules, which is O2 compliant procedure. What we have to do with something like this would be to go to competition with, say, 3 or 4 developers that have gone through their design process. And they pick a scheme, like I said earlier, which would be ice rink based or school based or anything else. What we have is a government framework that's tried and tested. It's been used across the UK. Most recently is the Monopoly scheme in Westminster. And through this framework we can keep an open book discussion throughout the whole process, instead of letting a commercial private developer go away and try and work out what figures he can hide and what profits he can make. And through doing this process we essentially empower the council and make them the developer. And from that point we can then take away the development profit and throw more into the pot for what we can give back to the community. So essentially it's all, like I said before, it's all managing aspirations. And through managing I don't mean that we limit our aspirations, I mean that we all want something there. And if we all had our say, we'd have another Geary scheme which is 60 metres high if we needed to provide everything that we all want. The idea is that we have to really manage our aspirations, and we have to look at all of these, all of which are credible proposals, such as you've got bowling green, school, and 50-metre pools. And we need to say, right, well, if we want all of those, what have we got left in the pot for the rest of the community, or how many units do we need to build in order to afford to do this? So it all goes down to viability at the end of the day. You know, we can't ask for everything and have a site that doesn't actually stack up to pay for what we're going to be able to get. So.